All right, Scott, here we go. So when I first coded all of this programming in, the nomenclature that we had and the verbiage was routines, schedules. And those are the two main things that everything kind of scaffolds out from. And so when I built this out, and this is just limited to congruent sets as well as sets of 2 to 3 to 4 for each. And it doesn't take into account like what we're doing, where we have 2 sets of 8, 2 sets of 6, or 3 sets of 6 and a set of 8. One can imagine when you see this in a second how exponentially this can unfold itself if you go to that complexity. And I kept it simple for this example, but from a program design standpoint, this is the backbone of the process. This is where the formatting and the program design comes together. And I have to say, this is a matter of a crap ton of organizational process on the front end, so you don't go completely batty on the back end. So if we look at this, we have routines 1 through 30. And the 1 through 30, it's just a repeating pattern. That's all it is. 2 sets of 15, 3 sets of 15, 4 sets of 15, 2 sets of 12, 3 sets of 12, 4 sets of 12, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once you get all the way down here to, excuse me, uh, sets of 2, sets of 1. This is the percentages, by the way. One repetition, 93%, one repetition, 95%, 95%. Just for sake of conversation, we can play around with those percentages based off the reps. But again, one can just kind of visualize if I'm going to go ahead and do uh, 15, 15, 12, 15, 12, 12 as a lead into my 3 sets of 12, that would be basically another probably, I don't know, 100 routines. I mean, in some regards, limitless to the creativity of a strength and conditioning coach. But it ends up being probably you can have 100 of these. And where this comes into play is this. Now, when we look at schedules is the the conversation we're having regarding schedules is this. When we look at schedules are made up of routines. So if we look at schedule number 1 up here, schedule number 1 is routine number 1, which is 2 sets of 15 on Monday. Schedule number 2 is routine number 1, which is 2 sets of 15 on Tuesday, etc. 3 on Wednesday, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I've written this for just 5 days a week, and it kind of tones down the actual exponential component that you have here. But what you have to have as a programming component is we have 2 sets of 15 on Monday, every Monday for 10 weeks. Then we have 2 sets of 15 every other Monday. So what ends up happening is, when you start to program this out, you get better at understanding where your odd weeks are and then where your even weeks are. If we scroll this down even further, the yellow dots, by the way, on the side denote differences between 4 sets of 15 and now we're getting into 12s. You can take this out and extrapolate this all the way out. We have our routine 6, routine 8, routine 9, routine 10 and 11. So just for sake of conversation, routine 10 and 11 are up here. We're at 2 sets of 8 and 3 sets of 8. But if we take this further, and this is kind of the challenge that we have, Scott, is this. We go ahead and do all the backfilling of all this information from number 1 all the way down to 30. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll just do a click and drag here from here. Excuse me. And let's get down to 28, 29, 30. So here we are in 30. What ends up happening is this. From a program design standpoint, we don't want 3 sets of 10 every weekend, every time we work out every week. We don't want 4 sets of 10. What you'd like to have is, we know routine 1 is 2 sets of 10. We know routine 4, I can scroll down to it, routine 4 is 2 sets of 12. Then we go into routine 7 is, excuse me, 2 sets of 10. So in this situation, we know what you can see on the left-hand side here, 2 sets of, put your fingers in quotes, progression. And it takes us down to routine number 28. Routine number 28 here is 2 sets of 1. So what you have is, in different subsections of the schedule menu, if you will, you have all the heavy lifting, if you excuse the pun there, between routine 1 to routine 30 for routine 1 to routine 30 on every single day for every single week, and then you have routine 1 to routine 30 on each day, but alternate weeks, odd number and even number. Then when you get into this, you can get the idea here. If you just think in terms of the routines, we don't have to toggle back and forth. But Schedule 631 is made up of these routines, meaning routine 1, routine 4, routine 7, 10, 13, 16, etc., 28, which this is pretty aggressive in terms of programming. But we now go into here. We have routine 638 is 3 sets progression. We get down here, 4 sets progression. And again, from a program design standpoint, and you even see this in your own program where you have to start off 3 sets and we're going to get into 4 sets. And it's not like it's straight line, 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 6, 3 sets of 5, etc. There's some manipulation with the rep and set combinations. So that's where it gets kind of cumbersome, I guess you could say, in terms of programming this out. On a spreadsheet, just to give you perspective, we're down here at line number 1200. And this is nowhere near exhaustive to what goes on like in the head of a strength and conditioning coach. So here's an example. If we go into this, we go bench press, we have schedule number for bench press, 631 and 638. Given it's a 7-day-a-week matrix that we came up with for the schedules, we know 631 and 638 and 218 and 225. This would be 226 actually. 226, I believe. Those will all be on a Monday. Now 631 and 638, when you look at them, they will have slightly different rep and set schemes. So 631, I got to scroll back up here. I know there's an easier way to do a search to line 631. I'm sorry, I'm just rifling through this real quick on a Saturday night. So 631, schedule 631. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, you're going to get punch drunk. See, going back and forth. 618, 631. So we know 631 is on Monday. We know 638 is on Monday. This is going to be a 2-set progression of 15 down to 1 reps. This is a 3-set progression over here to the left of 15 down to 1 reps. So 631, 638. So those are both on Monday, 631, 638. So we're doing a 2-set progression on bench press and a 3-set progression on incline. Now dumbbell bench and dumbbell incline press is 218 and 216. I think I got that right. I hope I did. Actually, I think it starts at 5. When I think about it, yeah, 218. Yep. So you got 218. Excuse me, it should be 225. So you have 218 is 3 sets of 8. We know that's routine number 11. And this is on odd number weeks. And this is routine number 11 on even number weeks. So if we look at this and we go back to 218 and 225, sorry. You'll be doing dumbbell bench press on odd number weeks, and you're doing dumbbell incline press on even number weeks. So from a programming standpoint, Scott, that's kind of what I'm trying to describe and trying to lay out. But one can only just imagine when you start getting into the more complex routines that a person has, and by no means are they ever held to just 4 sets. It could be 5 sets depending upon what you're doing with a person. But the long and short of it is, for every one of these, it extrapolates out because it has a multiplier effect or an exponential effect into the schedules, because for every one of these you add, you're going to do, like in this example, 3 sets of 8 on Monday every week, 3 sets of 8 on Monday odd weeks, 3 sets of 8 on Monday even weeks. And it has this kind of multiplying effect. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and share this document with you. Go ahead and take a look at it. I tried to keep it pretty simple in terms of what I'm sending to you, but this is kind of the foundational stuff that I really think where we should start. And I'm presuming that the conversation we're going to end up having is going to quickly go from like Excel to access because it's more database kind of driven. So with that, I've taken 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to go ahead and sign off.